Hey guys, welcome into today's video. This is going to be a brand new series on my channel. It's going to be a foundation a day for 42 days. The reason that I wanted to start this video is that I have 51 foundations in my permanent collection. It's the number 2 item, maybe number 1 right now, of makeup that I really like testing. I'm really into testing new foundations. It switches back and forth usually between blush, eyeshadow, and foundation, my 3 favorite makeup categories, probably a lot of people's favorite makeup categories. But 51 foundations is just too much for me to have in my collection. I recently did a makeup declutter, and I will link that up in the cards, where I went through my whole collection and I decluttered, breaking some of my makeup into 3 different categories: keep, declutter, and then I made up a third, which was items that I want to keep for reference, but I'm going to take out of my permanent collection and move into the closet where I keep makeup that I think is popular, relevant, things that I may want to reference in future videos, but that I don't want to use in my personal everyday life. But I did not do that with foundation. And recently I've gone through a really big skin change. In the last 8 months to a year, I have gone from really, really dry skin to very, very oily skin, and a lot of foundations that used to work for me that were more on the dewy, natural finish side just aren't working these days. So I'm grabbing and loving more matte foundations. So some of my foundations in my collection predate my skin change. So the reason for this series, I don't want to just declutter foundations based on memory. I want to retest a lot of them because some of them are pretty expensive. Some of them I may re-love, some of them I may not like or may not work for me now, and it's time to make that determination. So while I have 51 foundations in my collection, this is foundation a day for 42 days because there are 9 foundations I have already made a decision on. Some of them I'm actually testing. They haven't gone into speed reviews, but I've worn them very recently, so I know exactly how I feel about them, but I will have to move them into wherever they're going to go, keep, declutter, or in the reference pile. And then there are some that I'm testing that I already absolutely love, haven't gone into a speed reviews, and I know that I'm going to be keeping them. And then 2 of them I have already made the decision that I'm going to declutter. Hello and welcome to day 19, you guys. I am so excited because I'm almost to halfway mark, which is day 21 of testing the 42 foundations in my collection. It still looks like a lot. It's ridiculous. I am going to do the Bobbi Brown full coverage, no, skin longwear weightless foundation today. This one is a little bit of an older one in my collection. I've had this one for a while. I really enjoyed this when I had dry skin, but the thing that it did terribly was just settle into my fine lines. So I don't think it's an overly hydrating foundation. It's actually probably supposed to be for combo oily skin because it's full coverage and oil-free shine control. There's no added oils in it. It's got glycerin in it. So I probably shouldn't have tried it when I had dry skin, but still, this was a foundation that looked beautiful on my skin. I don't think it was like a full matte finish. I almost feel like it was a satin matte, and it was hydrating enough that I was recommending it to people with dry skin. But yeah, the one thing that this foundation does, or did do at the time, was settle into all of my fine lines, and it was quite noticeable. So anyway, I wanted to do this one today because it's a little bit older and because I feel like I have a bit of a longer day and I'm looking for one that's maybe a little bit more full coverage and presentable. So hopefully it doesn't settle into my fine lines too much. Let's get into talking about this a little bit. So the full name is Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation. It does have an SPF of 15. It comes in 26 different shades. I have mine in the shade C024 Ivory. It's supposed to be a full coverage foundation with oil-free shine control. It's also supposed to have a 16-hour Skin True undertone correct formula that's supposed to provide a natural matte real skin finish. It's supposed to be comfortable, breathable, and weightless. It is 1 fluid ounce. It's made in Belgium. I can't find the shelf life on this anywhere, but I imagine that it's 12 months, especially with an SPF in it. I already told you guys what I remember about this foundation. Let's see if that's true. If this is the first time seeing these videos, you guys, I apply one side with a brush, one side with a sponge. I give you my first impressions. I finish my makeup. We come and take one final look at it. And then I do a natural light check-in, a 4-hour natural light check-in, and then we come back at the end of the night to see how this particular foundation held up and decide whether or not it's gonna, there's this giant hair, whether or not it's going to stay in my collection or whether or not it will be decluttered. Okay, so as you guys saw, I absolutely applied another pump, like another half pump. I usually always do half a pump to either side of the face. I was like, where is the coverage? It was basically not even there. It was so darn light, I couldn't even see it. Even now, with what presumably is a full pump, look how much you can see my freckles. look how light that coverage is. Like, it is not full coverage at all. I don't remember the coverage level on this, so I can't speak to that. I don't remember it at all. I don't remember it being this light though, so I'm a little perplexed. I'm going to take this much. Guys, that's a lot. That's like a full freaking pump. But I'm gonna do that on this side because I'm using a really fluffy damp sponge and it's gonna soak up the product really quickly. So clean damp sponge on this side. Pretty much the same thing. Pretty light coverage. I maybe used a tiny bit more on this side than the other side just to account for the sponge. So I kind of see a little bit more coverage. It's got like this dewy finish and it's sticky. Like, it's got that tacky finish about it. I don't know that I would call it sticky. We'll see if it dries down. Sometimes they tend to dry down and that just like goes away. And most of the time I'm setting my whole face anyway, so I'm pretty much mattifying it. More coverage with the brush this time. That's not always the case, but I definitely see that. I also feel like it's smoother on the left side with a brush more so than the right side. I also feel like the brush just applied it a little bit more evenly, especially because the sponge is pretty darn big. I just don't get it. Where is the full coverage? Where's the full coverage? It doesn't talk about being like a buildable formula. It just says like straight up full cover on the front. And I use a ton of product, so I don't buy the full coverage claim whatsoever. I'm just so perplexed that this just looks like such light coverage. So I just went away for like 5 minutes because I got a phone call and it's still sticky. Like, I just touched it and it's still tacky. It's not the greatest feeling in the world. It actually like kind of feels a little bit sticky on the skin, like on my hands. What I will say though, it is fully weightless. Like, as much as I put on, I don't feel it on my skin whatsoever. It's very, very light feeling. It's also light coverage. Let me go finish the rest of my makeup, see if I can't get this stickiness to go away a little bit, and then we'll see if it kind of changes the finish any. I mean, you can see how radiant this is. It's a natural matte real skin finish. Ha, I believe the real skin finish. The natural matte though, no, not really. Let me go finish my makeup. I will be right back. I was able to mattify it, obviously, when I'm like using powder, but I don't know if that'll last. I mean, that's the thing. Will it fade off and like get sticky again? The parts that I didn't powder, which are like, you know, down here, I can still feel that the foundation is tacky, just a little bit sticky. I don't remember it being like this tackier, stickier finish foundation, especially with something that's like natural matte finish, full coverage. Those two things don't jive. I'm not saying that it looks bad on the skin. In fact, it's kind of pretty. Even though it's not full coverage, it's natural looking. It still looked like it gave me coverage, but just evened out my skin tone. Didn't like do more than that. It's still really nice though. It's just not what it says it is, in my opinion. We shall see. I just don't think it's gonna perform really well. Oh, I wanna mention the fine lines. Nothing so far. Of course, we'll see how it continues to wear and whether it sinks in a little bit later. Right now, no sinking into the fine lines. I would say when I put it on last, when I had dry skin, I didn't notice the sinking in like right away. It was a little bit later. So we'll see how it holds up, you guys. I am out of here for right now. I will see you back here later, at least at the 8-hour mark. It's probably gonna be a longer wear test today just because I have so much going on today, but maybe not, we'll see. And we'll decide whether or not this is a good one. I'll see you guys later, bye. Hello and welcome back to 6 p.m. I put this foundation on at 9:30 this morning, so it's just been over 8 hours. I felt like I could come up here and do this pretty quickly because I pretty much made up my mind. Let me show you guys what it looked like right away in natural light. It's not super smoothing on the skin. Nothing really changed from what I was showing you guys, just so you can kind of see a close up. But then at 4 hours, I'm mouthing in the video that it is so dry across my face, especially in the center of my face, around my nose, kind of on the sides of my nose and my nose. The foundation just looked so dry. And as a matter of fact, what I think I'm mouthing after application video, I think I'm even saying that it's like not full coverage at all. By the time I got into natural light, it looked barely medium coverage. coverage. I just didn't see the full coverage, which is what I said up here earlier. Now, I did film another video and I did end up having to powder my nose because a lot of the foundations seem to come off on my nose. I want to say that the oil-free shine control was really nice. I think that it did keep my oils at bay. I want to say that, but I also want to say it dried out my skin. It's a little bit more humid right now, so it's not like it's overly dry outside. I don't think my skin is extra dehydrated, but I'm definitely more combo right at this particular time of year than I am in the summer months when I'm completely a sweaty, oily mess. I think this is good at certain times of the year. I would want to say like this would be something I could see myself reaching for when it's the summertime and when I sweat a lot more. I think this time of year, it's definitely too much of a drier foundation for me. What I didn't really like is just how textured my skin looked. I don't think it looked smooth, and I think it was sticky. Like I was telling you guys, everywhere that I didn't powder, it was just a tackier foundation. I just overall, I'm not a fan of the formula. I'm not a fan of the finish. I don't know why I absolutely used to love this, and I did. I don't know why. Maybe it performed better when it wasn't as old, when it was a brand new product, but also at the time, I didn't have as many foundations as I have now and all the different formulas that I've tested. I don't think it sank into my fine lines the same way that it used to. I will give it that much, but this is an easy decision for me. This just doesn't perform as well as some of the other ones that I have in my collection. So let's go through the tally, you guys. I am going to declutter the Bobbi Brown Skin Long Wear Weightless Foundation with SPF 15. With all the different changes that I have made throughout these videos after the fact, I am decluttering 11 and I am keeping 8. I feel really good about that. I really, really do. I'm super pleased with myself. We are almost at day 21. We're almost at the halfway mark. I have no idea what I'm going to do next, but definitely still trying to target the ones that are a little bit older in my collection to make a decision quicker so I can get use out of them, or basically not, essentially. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you guys are enjoying this series, and I hope you guys stick around for days 20 through 42 of foundation a day. I'm out of here for this evening, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye, guys.